I was born in a small village where girls were meant to learn sewing, not science. My father believed girls didn't need schools. Books don't cook meals, he used to say, but I was different. I wanted to read the stars, not just count rice grains. Every evening, after finishing chores, I'd sneak to the backyard where my brother studied. I'd hide behind the door and repeat every line his teacher had written. My fingers were rough from work, but my heart was soft for knowledge. One night, he caught me listening. He said, "Appa, if you want to learn, I'll teach you after dinner." That's how it began, lessons, whispered by moonlight, on torn pages, between candle flames and sleepy eyes. By the time I turned 14, I could read newspapers and even write small letters. The headmaster of the local school noticed me one day when I corrected a boy's math answer in the market. He said, "You should be in school, child." I laughed. Girls from my street don't go to school. But he didn't laugh. Next week, he came home with a form. My father refused. My mother cried, and I stood frozen. That night, I packed my shawl and left a note. "I'll return when I can write my name with pride." I walked 3 miles to the town's girls' school, barefoot but brave. Those years were hard. I cleaned classrooms in the morning to pay my fees. I stitched uniforms at night. My notebooks smelled of soap and chalk dust. There were days I wanted to quit. But then, there was him. He was a teacher's assistant, quiet, serious, with eyes that spoke before his lips did. His name was Aslam. He noticed how I always sat in the front row, even when others mocked me for being too old for school. One evening, as I swept the corridor, he said, "You study like someone who's fighting for her life." I smiled, because I am. From that day, he'd leave small notes in my books, quotes about courage, kindness, and dreams. One read, "Education isn't a privilege, it's power." Another said, "One day, you'll teach others." I didn't know when admiration turned to affection, and affection to something deeper. When I graduated, I was the first girl from my village to earn a teaching certificate. On that day, Aslam handed me an envelope. Inside was a letter in his neat handwriting. "To the girl who taught herself how to fly, would you walk beside me as my equal for life?" My hands trembled. My heart said yes, but my mind remembered the angry faces waiting at home. When I returned, my father forbade it. "You'll marry the man I choose," he said. But for the first time, I looked him in the eyes and said softly, "I didn't walk miles to end up in someone else's shadow." I left again, not out of rebellion, but out of faith. Aslam and I married in a small ceremony under a neem tree, with only a few close friends. No dowry, no fancy clothes, just 2 dreamers with one shared hope. A future built on learning and love. We opened a small school together, 1 room, a chalkboard, and a world of possibility. We taught village children for free, boys and girls. When people laughed, we said, "Let them laugh, they'll thank us later." Over time, that 1 room turned into 3, then 10. The laughter of children filled every wall we painted. I taught math and reading. Aslam taught history and poetry. In the evenings, we sat under the stars and shared dreams of a country where no girl would hide behind doors to learn. Years later, when Aslam passed away, I found that same letter in my old trunk. Its ink had faded, but the words were still strong. To the girl who taught herself how to fly, I smiled through tears and whispered, "And I'm still flying, Aslam." Now, when my grandchildren visit, they see the framed certificate on my wall and ask, "Nani, was it hard to study back then?" I tell them, "Hard? Yes. Impossible? Never." Then I show them the school now renamed the Aslam Fatima Learning Home. Every time a little girl reads her first word there, I feel a spark, the same spark I felt behind that old classroom door. Grandmother, my education gave me wings, my love gave me wind. Together, they carried me farther than I ever dreamed.